Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Cabinet of Curiosities on our own devices. I'm Jean Messier. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cabinet of Curiosities on our own devices. I'm Jean Messier, and today we're having a look at a fascinating relic of the First World War. This is a Princess Mary Christmas gift box, and as the name implies, this was the brainchild of Mary, Princess Royal, the 17-year-old daughter of King George V and Queen Mary. Now, the princess was very well known for her philanthropic endeavors, and shortly after the war broke out, she came up with the idea of issuing a Christmas gift to every member of the British Empire Armed Forces. Now, originally, she planned to pay for this gift out of her own allowance, but when she discovered that this was not feasible due to the sheer number of people involved, she instead decided to open up a public fund. And on October 15th, 1914, she published the following appeal to the British people. I want you now to help me to send a Christmas present from the whole of the nation to every sailor afloat and every soldier at the front. I am sure that we should all be happier to feel that we had helped to send our little token of love and sympathy on Christmas morning, something that would be useful and of permanent value, and the making of which may be the means of providing employment in trades adversely affected by the war. Could there be anything more likely to hearten them in their struggle than a present received straight from home on Christmas Day? Please, will you help me? And this appeal proved extraordinarily successful. By the time the campaign ended, it had raised over £162,500, equivalent to around £18 million in today's money. And the standard gift that was agreed upon was this. This is a box stamped out of sheet brass. And if we look at the nicely ornamented lid, we'll see there is a portrait of Princess Mary along with her royal monogram, and then the symbols of all of the Entente Cordiale nations. So the British Empire, France, Russia, Belgium, Japan, Serbia, and Montenegro. Now, the actual contents of the box varied depending on who the intended recipient was. The standard filling consisted of an ounce of tobacco, a package of 20 cigarettes, a tinder lighter, a picture of Princess Mary, and a Christmas card. Though for those receiving the package after Christmas 1914, this was changed to a New Year's card reading, "To a Victorious New Year." However, the Christmas Gift Committee realized that there were large groups within the armed forces for whom this standard gift would not be appropriate. For example, non-smokers or those of different religious faiths, especially in the British Indian Army. So a number of alternative gifts were also put together. So, for example, non-smokers would have received the same tin, but filled with acid drops, basically sour lemon candy, as well as the picture of Princess Mary and the Christmas card. They also would have received a khaki wallet containing writing paper, envelopes, and pencils. Within the British Indian Army, the Gurkhas would have received the same standard tin as other British troops. The Sikhs would have received the tin filled with sugar candies, as well as the Christmas card and the portrait of Princess Mary, and a separate box filled with spices to add to their rations. The Hindus and other religions would have received the cigarettes, the sugar candy, and the spices, as well as the portrait and the card, whereas the Bastis, who were the traditional water carriers for the British Indian Army, would have just received the box of spices and the Christmas card. And one last group that had an alternate gift package were nurses, who refused the tobacco products and instead received the tin filled with chocolate. So the original intention was only to send these gifts to soldiers and sailors serving at the front lines, but this was soon expanded to include soldiers on leave, soldiers recuperating in hospital, the next of kin of soldiers killed in battle, medical personnel, as well as POWs, for whom the gifts were held in reserve until they were released and returned home. And so this greatly swelled the number of recipients to well over 2 million people. And in order to simplify logistics and distribution, the intended recipients were divided into 3 different groups in descending order of priority. And these were: Class A, which included all sailors in the Navy and troops at the front, personnel who were wounded in hospital or on furlough in the British Isles, prisoners of war, members of the French mission, nurses, and the widows and parents of those killed in action. Class B included all British, Indian, and colonial troops serving outside of the British Isles. And finally, Class C included all troops within the British Isles. Now, initially, this distribution went very smoothly, and some 400,000 of these boxes were successfully distributed by Christmas 1914. After this point, however, the distribution slowed down significantly due to a number of factors, one of them being a shortage of materials. So when the Lusitania was sunk in May of 1915, part of the cargo it was carrying was 45 tons of brass sheet, specially earmarked for making these boxes. There was also a shortage of items to actually put inside the boxes, and so the committee had to scramble around and put together whatever it could find to send to the troops. And this included things like shaving brushes, wallets, razors, combs, pretty much anything you could think of. And one of the most popular of these alternative gifts was the bullet pencil. And this was simply a wooden pencil inside a bullet-shaped metal case that fit into another container made to look like a .303 British rifle round. Yet despite these expediencies, distribution still dragged on for years, all the way to the armistice of 1918 and beyond. In fact, they were still distributing these things all the way into 1920. Now, despite more than 2 million of these tins being produced, there was still some money left over from the original fund, and this was given over to the Princess Mary Maternity Home, which was dedicated to caring for the wives and the children of soldiers who were killed or wounded in action. Now, as expected, the troops were highly appreciative of these gifts, and although the contents were very quickly consumed and there are very few fully intact examples left to this day, these tins are very durable and very handy for storing things like sewing kits or cigarettes, and so a lot of the troops and their families held on to these for many years, and they're fairly common today. You can pick one up for a decent price on eBay or in an antique store if you can find one. And for me, this is just such a fascinating item. It's a neat snapshot of an innocent early phase of the Great War where everybody thought it would be over by Christmas, and they really had no idea of the 4 years of horror that were to come. It's also a great example of the lengths that nations will go to keep up the morale and fighting spirit of their armed forces, and that's why this is one of my favorite items in my entire personal collection. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on another episode of Cabinet of Curiosities, where we'll look at yet more military relics and other devices just like this one. Until then, I'm Jean Messier from Our Own Devices, and
goodbye, goodbye. Wipe the tear, baby dear, from your eye. Though it's hard to pass, I know